Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the Star City Games Team Constructed Open in Philadelphia, part of the SCG Tour, brought to you by Ultimate Garden Carnox Chairs. I'm Nick Miller alongside Star City Games' own and now Team Lotus Box, Corey Baumeister. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good. That has a nice ring to it.
You got a lot of titles going on there.
Yep.
Kind of a new addition to the SCG Tour.
Definitely.
You've moved out to Roanoke, starring on Versus Live.
Yep.
You've got the pro circuit still going, but we're going to be seeing a lot more of you on the SCG Tour. And we got to talk Standard, because that is the name of the game for Mr. Corey Baumeister.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now, for the plug, StarCityGames.com, you did a video feature on this John Dinosaurs deck.
I did, yep.
So everyone can go check it out there after this deck tech. But we want to talk, because it's been a while since we've seen a Dinosaurs deck. You know, way back when Ixalan came out, people tried it, but now we have some new tools.
Yep.
How do we like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot now. Basically, what the deck was lacking was another early card, because Drover is like not very good. That's why I'm just playing one. You really needed a 2-mana creature that ramped you into this stuff, and Marauding Raptor like fits the bill. It's an insanely powerful card late game, and it does what you want it to do early game. So I think that was really the hole that it filled. And this card hits the metagame, Rotting Regisaur, hits the metagame in such a way right now where some of these narrow sideboard cards that deal with like green or red creatures or, you know, like does not deal with every creature in the deck, and Rotting Regisaur is usually the exception.
Yeah, when I look at Rotting Regisaur and I think about what I looked at last weekend for the Standard Open, there weren't a lot of ways to kill this thing.
Yep, exactly.
The blue decks couldn't kill it. The red decks don't have enough burn unless they point multiple spells at it.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, the super narrow sideboard cards don't really hit the black creatures.
Exactly, like it's whatever Decree, the white card, like that, nobody's playing that,
Sure.
you know? Yeah, so I think it's really good. This is definitely a more of a metagame call, because if Cast Down and Tyrant Scorn, stuff like that picks up popularity and they can kill your 2-drop, this deck is just a very slow mid-range deck, and it becomes a lot worse.
Right, but as you said, you've got the OTEP Hunter, or the Hunt Master, along with the new Raptor that kind of accelerates you.
Yep.
You've got the just massive 3-drop, and then we're
3 mana 7/6, no big deal.
Then we're just ramping, that's like Hearthstone numbers, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we're ramping into the name, you know, if Mono Blue and Simic Flash is the name of the game, like we saw last week, Ceratops is where you want to be.
Exactly, and even like, you know, it's insane in those matchups, but even Esper, it's still really hard to deal with. Like, D-Spark's a great answer, but like, can't be bounced by Teferi, you know, can't be tucked with big Teferi. And then even against like these teamer decks, they can't chump block with Risen Reefs, they can't block with Giant Hydras. Like, it has applications against everything but the Mirror and Vampires right now, so it's just an all-star. Yeah.
Right. Outside of that, we have the Regisaur Alpha, we've got Riftjaw Raptor as your other 4-drops, and we're all powering out all-powerful Galta, sometimes with haste.
Oh yeah,
that can't be
very
fair.
common with haste. I mean, we have a total of 7 ways to give it haste, and it just trumps every single mid-range strategy, just going over the top. Once again, if there is a lot of removal that is unconditional that can take that down, this deck becomes a lot worse. But for now, I think it's a good call.
Right. We'll go to the spells here. We have Commune with Dinosaurs, finds effectively every card in your deck minus the removal. Then we have Savage Stomp and Collision Colossus as your kind of go-to spells.
Yeah. Collision Colossus, like, it has applications against these flyers, but most of the time it is just a pump spell. It's just a very effective pump spell for 2 mana. Giving this 11 power and trample, I mean, it's just disgusting. So that's the normal mode of it. I went down to 2 because I wasn't super hyped, and I wanted to have a little bit of a mix-up with 1 Domri in the deck, but it's a very good card.
All right. Yeah. So I assume you played this deck after looking at the results from last week. How do we feel against what we saw there coming into this weekend with this deck?
Well, I saw a lot of blue-based flash decks. I was testing for the Mox playoffs, so I did a decent amount of standard testing. I was trying to play ramp decks because I thought they were just very powerful, but I was losing to all these blue-based tempo decks. And I noticed there's not a lot of early disruption in last week's list, like very minimal, and I didn't think it was gonna really catch up quite yet. So I still think this is a pretty solid choice, and so far it's working out. Yeah.
We did not see a lot of Esper Hero last weekend. I assume that number would probably pick up. How do you like this deck against that, as that's kind of been the standby of your friend BBD and
Yeah.
players of that like?
Yeah, you know, I mean, if I play a 100-game set against BBD with this, I'm probably going to win like 4 or 5 games tops because you know, he's a stone cold master at his craft. But yeah, it's a very close matchup. I think I'm a little disadvantaged in it, but it is close. Like, you cannot really screw up. You have to sideboard perfectly from the Esper side, but it's close. But I mean, things like the true train wreck matchups are things like Grixis control. Like,
right.
I cannot beat, you know, a bunch of
30
2-mana
removal
removals
spells.
and then top out at Nicol Bolas. It's just like, I don't have enough permanents. It's just going to be insane. But yeah, not very popular right now. So
Thankfully,
yeah.
yes.
Yes.
We'll move to the sideboard here where we get to see some of these new narrow hate cards. As
Yep.
we saw a lot of them last week of the blue variety. You have Veil of Summer and Noxious Grasp.
Yep.
What are these targeting?
So Veil of Summer is definitely mainly for these ramp decks that are trying to mass manipulate your Entrancing Melody, your big dinos, as well as comes in against Esper Hero as a way to stop a turn 2 Thought Erasure, get a removal spell on one of your key dinos. So it's an all-star there. It's just a phenomenal card. And then the Noxious Grasp have a very wide variety of matchups. You know, you want to bring it in against these ramp strategies. That's Public Enemy #1. Also pretty good against Esper. Yeah, that's pretty much the main ones, yeah.
You have your own removal, as you mentioned. You kind of feared a bunch of 2-mana removal spells.
Yep.
You have 3 cast downs here to kind of do the thing you're hoping to avoid.
Exactly.
And just worked for you in the mirror, I hear.
Exactly. So the mirror, it's like insane against. It's really good against these blue-green flash decks because one way that they can beat you is Shifting Ceratops is still your best card, but when you go to attack and they just flash in the Ambusher, the 4/4, I really want an answer to that play exactly. If I had more time to test, since I've been testing for Mythic Championship Barcelona, I wanted to try Reckless Rage because I think Reckless Rage would kind of be insane and it answers that same problem. Plus, if you fight with the Ripjaw Raptor, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But Cast Down's insane for the mirror and just has a lot of applications when you're on the draw against super aggressive decks and you want to just slow their pace down.
All right, Flame Sweep looks like the Vampires hate card here.
Yep.
And then
Anything
3
going super wide.
Brontodon.
Yeah, I'm Brontodon for Nexus. I'm a little weak to Nexus, but I figured the fear was going to be in the Nexus players with all the blue tempo decks, and Nexus did pretty bad last week. So I wanted to, I didn't play Duress. Duress is the main thing you're not seeing here. First of all, it's just hard to cast in this deck. Like, I mean, I have like 12 sources or something. I wasn't reliably casting it. Even when I was, every single deck where Duress is good against, they're sideboarding into Creatures Plan, and the first time I Duress and they just had 2 great creatures, I'm like, I'm getting this card out of my deck immediately.
All right. One thing I want to ask before we wrap up is how fast this deck can Goldfish, because for decks like, if people are crazy enough to bring Nexus and some of these other decks that don't interact and you just have to race, how fast can you close?
It's a pretty consistent turn 4. I don't think there's a combination of turn 3, like, no, because it'd have to be, no, can't be at turn 3, but turn 4 pretty consistently if you don't have any disruption, which is powerful. One disadvantage to this deck, and one thing you have to do if you're trying to play this moving forward, is you can't keep a hand without a 2-drop. You know, you have to be aggressively mulliganing. Take advantage of that London mulligan rule, because if you're just casting your 3-mana dino, you know, on turn 3, it becomes a lot worse.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Limited when you're not doing the unfair stuff.
Exactly. Big, dumb creatures early on, but that's usually not enough.
All right, well, the deck looks awesome. I'm excited to see Dinosaurs finally thrive in this standard format.
Yes.
Corey, it's great to have you here on the SCG Tour. I look forward to seeing you more.
Yep.
Stay tuned to Star City Games all weekend long for the action here in Philadelphia.